All right, I believe we're live on YouTube. I'm going to start us up here on Rumble. And yeah, good morning, hello, and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is about what happened on this date, to date throughout the annals of recorded history. Join us as we delve into yesteryear, not only for important and interesting happenings, but to possibly even answer questions you don't know you have. The sources of this information come from the website onthisday.com and the smart device applications Historical Calendar and Today in History. For links to these sources and anything else potentially interesting, please check the underbar of the description below. And as per usual, anything gathered throughout the show will appear post live stream. My camera is once again doing that stupid little thing. But anyway, I am Xander.
King's Refuge.
And you, viewer, are of course you. Thank you very much for coming and tuning in. Today is Woden's Day, aka Odin's Day, aka Windendendendend's Day, July 10th, 2024. So, would you care to start us off in 48 BC as I fix my camera?
48 BC, Battle of Dyrrhachium. Julius Caesar barely avoids a catastrophic defeat to Pompey near the city of Dyrrhachium in what is now Albania.
Huh. Alright.
138, Emperor Hadrian of Rome died of heart failure at his residence in the Bay of Naples Bay. He was buried at Rome in the tomb of Hadrian beside his late wife, Bibia Sabina.
All right, and do you know, as far as I'm aware of, do you know what Hadrian's main claim to fame is?
No.
Hadrian's Wall. Do you know about
I don't know what that is.
Hadrian's Wall? You are aware that the Roman Empire was on the British Isles, at least, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they obviously didn't take the entire British Isles, so somewhere midway, because of like all the Scots and Irish people and all that stuff, they kept the Romans out of a certain amount of the British Isles. Hadrian actually built a wall, so Hadrian's Wall, and it's a really interesting bit of architecture. Hold on a second. These are if you're watching my screen here, these are the ruins of the wall. But every now and then, they have things like this. This was like a little garrison, so this is where troops were. And right here, there is the Antonine Wall way up here, and then Hadrian's Wall way down here, and it stretched from coast to coast, the whole thing. So basically, like the Great Wall of China, or the idea behind Trump's wall, it's meant to, keep the good people in and the bad people out and all that stuff, so to speak. Like why do people build walls? Why are there fences around properties? And same basic reason. So. But yeah, no, he built this huge construct and everything, and there's ruins all along the entire countryside. Here's another map of it, and there's outpost forts, and then there's wall forts. So it was a whole thing. It was more than just a wall. It was a whole thing. So I'd like to go visit that one day. That'd be cool. Anyway, what else do we got here?
518, former peasant Justin the First proclaimed Byzantine emperor in the Hippodrome, Constantinople.
Ah, so a former peasant becomes emperor.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice. Moving on up into 552, origin of the Armenian calendar. I'm not surprised. I had no idea about the Armenian calendar, but obviously everybody has to have a calendar at some point. So,
what's your calendar look like?
The Armenian calendar. Let's see here. Let's get to Ecosia. Scroll up a bit. Like this.
And like the Mayan calendar.
Yeah. Oh, I see a lot of swastikas here. Huh. But vertical set of pocket calendars, Armenian version. So I guess they still have their own calendar today. I'm not a calendar scientist guy, so I don't know exactly. I know that I believe the world for the most part uses the Gregorian calendar. So, yeah. We also have in 988, the city of Dublin was founded on the banks of the river Liffey. And from one of my other sources, I have quite more substantial information. The Norse king Gluinerin recognized Mael Shiniel Mac Domhnaill, High King of Ireland, and agreed to pay taxes and accept Brehon law. This event is considered to be the founding of the city of Dublin. So, yeah, happy birthday, Dublin, Ireland. And I guess maybe the inspiration for the shame scene of Game of Thrones, if I'm getting my series corrects. But you want to tell us 1040 here?
Hold on.
Like, you know what I'm talking about, right? That one scene, like, when the lady's walking through town naked, and then there's, like, nuns behind her ringing a bell.
Yeah.
Shame! Shame!
Shame!
Yeah.
Shame! Boo! Boo! 1040, Lady Godiva rides naked on horseback through the conventry, according to legend. Forced her husband, the Earl of Mercia, to lower taxes. Wait.
Wah, I want my husband to do something, so I'm going to go parade my naked body through the street. That'll show him. Wah. Yeah, because that'll make him lower taxes. Like,
yeah, that'll show him.
Stupid.
What happened? Like, I need more context. Did they hang her after what she did? Or like,
I don't know.
Did he lower taxes?
Well, during the reign of Edward I, Coventry did indeed have no taxes imposed on it except for horses. Peeping Tom, however, appears to be later 17th century addition to the story. So apparently, from what little I've read, this is the only tax was involved horses, and maybe that's why she rode around on a horse to be like, oh look, this is taxed, and look at me, I'm naked, like, but this is, yeah.
Oh.
Now wait a minute. It says here the naked lady then, the lady then covers her body with her long hair and asks the population to stay inside and bar doors and windows. The people comply out of respect, all except one man named Tom, the origin of the term Peeping Tom. Alright, so that's the origin of the term Peeping Tom. But I mean, dude, like make up your mind. Like, you're going to go parade yourself naked.
Right.
And then you're telling everybody not to look. I mean, dude, at risk of sounding misogynistic, common female activities. Like there's so much hypocrisy happening all at once. Like, what do you want? Like, what does she want? Like, help me. King?
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah. What? I don't know, man.
It was just, common females are going to common female. What can I say? So... Anyway, let's move on up here. What do we got in 1086?
1086, King Canute IV of Denmark was killed by rebellious peasants.
Well, as I've always said, the power is always in the people, and these peasants finally figured that out. Even a cornered mouse fights, and you push a population too far, and you'll eventually end up, on the wrong side of a spear. And I don't know when that'll happen in this country, but it's bound to happen. It's just people...
I think that's what they want to happen. That way they have just cause locked us all up.
Well, if it doesn't happen, then they'll just rule over us anyway. So something's got to give. We can't sit here and just keep taking the punches.
True.
So, anyway, moving on up to 1212. The most severe of several early fires of London burned in Southwark, south of London Bridge, and most of the city was burned down. Yikes. Yeah. 1376, English Good Parliament ended. It was the longest sitting parliament at that time. I wonder what the longest sitting parliament. Let's look it up. Longest sitting parliament in UK history. Let's see here. Parliamentary records of the United Kingdom. Let's see if it's gonna longest parliament. The longest parliament to continuously sit in any of the United Kingdom's constituent countries was England's Cavalier Parliament, which sat for nearly 18 years, from May 8th, 1661 until January 24th, 1679. Wow. That is a long parliament, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the normal length for a parliament are, but yeah. 1460, during the Wars of the Roses, Richard of York defeated King Henry VI at the Battle of Northampton. Henry VI was also captured. Back during the time where people who led people actually went with said people. What a concept, you know? Actually leading people, not just ordering people to go do things. You know, there's a difference between a leader and a boss. So, but what do we got in 1499 here? Off of me.
1499, the Portuguese explorer Nicolau Coelho returned to Lisbon after discovering the sea route in India as a companion of Vasco da Gama.
Yep. And there's been a question on my mind since I first learned about Christopher Columbus, because obviously he was, trying to find sea routes to India. And, as we all know, that's where the misnomer came from, naming Native Americans Indians and all that stuff, even though he was more in Central and South America. But still, the term stuck. And I always thought, okay, well, obviously that was in India, so, they would have to, at some point find an actual sea route to India. I never learned about that until I was 37 years old. Read it yesterday while writing for this show. So this is when they actually did find a sea route to India. So, 1492 to 1499, that didn't take long. Another 7 years. So, yeah. What do we got here in 1520?
1520, King Charles V, France, and King Henry VIII of England signed a Treaty of Calais. Look at
Treaty of Calais, 1520. Let's see here. The Field of the Cloth and Gold. What the hell? It was a summit meeting, okay, yada yada, held at Bellingham between Archers of France, yada yada. It was a very expensive display of wealth by both kings. Cool. Okay, so what did it do though? This meeting made a great impression on contemporaries, but its political results were very minor, while the carefully established rules to the tournament. So this is something else? Question mark? Hold on a second. I thought this was... Okay, so this is something else. Hold on a second. This is not telling me about the Treaty of Calais. I wanted the Treaty of Calais 1520, and it's giving me information about a jousting tournament. What the hell? Alright, well, I guess we're not going to get the answers we seek. So if anybody can figure it out, let us know in the comments section. That'd be great. What else do we got here? 1553.
1553, Lady Jane Grey, daughter of Duke of Suffolk, proclaimed Queen of England, succeeds Edward VI, who proclaimed his half-sisters illegitimate, resigns for 9 days.
Reigns.
Reigns for 9 days. Yeah. I'm like, wait, that doesn't make sense.
You're a king. That's supposed to be in the top 10 of your vocabulary. That word. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
I'm gonna get some chocolate chip. 1629, the first non-separatist congregational church in U.S. was founded in Salem, Massachusetts. All right, that's pretty cool. 1652, England declared war on the Netherlands, beginning the First Anglo-Dutch War. Huh. All right. 1739, King George II authorized the Admiralty Board to seek maritime reprisals against Spain. This is the War of Jenkins' Ear. and this sounds very much like privateering. So let's look up this War of Jenkins' Ear. What a weird name. Like, we're gonna have a war of our hearing organ, specifically Jenkins' hearing organ. It was a conflict lasting from 1739 to 1748, so 9 years between Britain and Spain. The majority of the fighting took place in New Granada and the Caribbean Sea, with major operations largely ended by 1742. It was related to the 1740-1748 War of Austrian Succession. The name was coined in 1858 by British historian Thomas Carlyle and refers to Robert Jenkins, captain of the British brig Rebecca, whose ear was allegedly severed by Spanish coast guards while searching his ship for contraband in April 1731. So, yeah, once again, it sounds even more like privateering stuff because, happening in Grenada and Caribbean,
Yeah.
Apart from minor fighting in Florida, Georgia, and Havana, the war was largely subsumed into the War of the Austrian Succession, which involved most of the powers in Europe. So this eventually just grew into an even bigger war. So, but I'm going to go on a limb here and say there is privateering happening. There has to have been. Like, if there wasn't, I'd be shocked. Like, we need a pirate historian or something to let us in more about this specific War of Jenkins' Ear. Moving on up to 1746, Scotland's Bonnie Prince Charlie fled in disguise to the Isle of Skye. Huh. And I'm not sure, but I think I fumbled the turns here. So let's restart with you in 1762.
1762, Louis Francois Horseback monument to George Frederick Handel is unveiled at Westminster Abbey in London, England.
Huh.
What's that look like?
Let's see. Oh, okay. So it's playing a lyre, taining a child. Okay, that's interesting. What else do we got here? 1775. This one's weird. Like, what the?
Horatio Gates issues orders excluding blacks from Continental Army.
Well, that's not too cash money right there. Eventually, though, I think mainly because the Brits were offering freedom to blacks who would turn coat on the colonists here. They're offering them freedom if they joined the British Army. So then the colonists, were offering them the same thing, essentially, more or less, something like that. I'm not sure. But let's not forget, the British were the first. And actually, let's see if I can find this here. I'm not sure if I saved it or if it's been deleted from my system. But I had here it is, right here. So this is something nobody ever talks about. In 1833, Britain used 40% of its national budget to buy freedom for all slaves in the empire. Britain borrowed such a large sum of money for the Slavery Abolition Act that it wasn't paid off until 2014. This means that living British citizens helped pay for the ending of the slave trade with their taxes. So, if you pay taxes as far recently as 2014 in Britain, then you helped rebuild the massive amount of debt that white people incurred to free blacks. Nobody talks about that. How interesting. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on up. What do we got here? Off of main source, 1778.
American Revolution. Louis the 16th. France declares war on the Kingdom of Britain.
Yep. So this is when they officially declared war, and just 2 years later, actually, this is pretty interesting. This is already after the war is over. So, I thought the war was over by 1780. Hold on a second. Would you mind reading that while I look this up?
1780, the Comité de Rochambeau of his French force of 7,000 land at Newport, Rhode Island to join the American Revolutionary War.
Okay, so it says here that so 1765 to 1783. Okay, so the war was still going on for another 3 years. That's interesting. So 1776 till 1783, or from this it says here, it was from 1765. So I mean, I guess when the first stirrings were starting up until the Declaration, because we have the 13 colonies from 1765 to 1775, the United Colonies from 75 to 81, and then the United States from 81 to 83. So, but we weren't called the United States until the 1790s. I don't know, man. There's some discrepancies going on here.
Yeah, some context missing, of course. Yeah, of course.
And Wikipedia being a leftist, organization, I don't know how much history that they're rewriting, but they're certainly doing it. But yeah, Rochambeau, this, the French guy. I think he was portrayed in The Patriot. He was the guy who said "Vive la Liberté" at the end, and he was there, obviously beforehand. But anyway, moving on up to 1796. Okay, that's weird. We I hold on a second. Maybe this this date is right. Okay, 17. Wow, my brain is fried right now. 1796, Carl Friedrich Gauss discovered that every positive integer is representable as a sum of at most 3 triangular numbers. What the hell is a triangular number? What is a triangular number? That sounds weird. Let's see here. It counts objects arranged in an equilateral triangle. Triangular numbers are a type of figurate number, other examples being square numbers and cube numbers. The nth triangular number is the number of dots in the triangular arrangement with n dots on each side and is equal to the sum of the n natural numbers from 1 to n. The sequence of triangular numbers starting with the 0th triangular number is 0, 1, 3, 6, 10, 15, 21, 28, 36, so on and so forth. So essentially, every positive integer is a sum of at least 3, or of at most 3 triangular numbers. This is mathematics beyond my pay grade, so I have no idea what it is I'm reading, but I'm sure somebody out there at some point will understand what this is. So yeah, we don't just do this show for us, we do this for you. Because how many things have we reported on that we have absolutely no idea about, King?
Right.
Yeah. It's not just about what we find interesting, it's what we find that might be potentially interesting for other people. So, yeah. Moving on up into the 1800s. Do you want to take us, start us off with that here?
The British Indian government establishes the Fort William College to grow Urdu, Hindi, and the others vernaculars of subcontinent.
All right. Keeping languages alive. That is awesome.
In 1806, the Villeroy Mutiny is the first instance of a mutiny by Indian sepoys against the British East India Company.
Huh. All right, so the first time Indians did a mutiny, as far as, against the British, as far as what's documented. So, that's interesting. Huh. And this next one is pretty big.
Oh, I smack it. 1832, President Jackson's vetoed legislation to recharter the Second Bank of the United States.
Yep, and wasn't it because we've both seen, the decline of the American dream?
Yeah.
Like the cartoon video, this one here. Don't they reference this about Andrew Jackson's famous last words being "I killed the bank"?
Oh yeah.
Let's see if I can find it here. Probably not. But yeah, it's in here somewhere. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, moving on up. What else do we got here? 1847. Urbine Leverrier and John Couch Adams. Couch, what the hell kind of a middle name is that? Co-discoverers of Neptune met for the first time in the home of the John Herschel. So they both discovered Neptune. I remember hearing or reporting about that. They discovered it at the same day, more or less like within an hour or so of each other. So they both got co-credit for discovering Neptune. Well, that's very cool. Yeah. And actually, this is the thumbnail of today's video. Co-discoverers of Neptune. So, I don't know why, but like I was trying to find a better picture of this guy, but he looks kind of like worm, like he has like worm tongue attitudes from Lord of the Rings, like doesn't he kind of have the face or something? Like he kind of has like a sinister look to him, just the angle and that he's presenting himself there. Anyway, 1850, Millard Fillmore was sworn in as president of the U.S., replacing Taylor, and we talked about, Taylor dying yesterday after eating fresh fruit and iced milk, and yeah,
cherries.
Yeah, was suspected to be cherries. Yeah. 1861, Lincoln wrote to Kennedy's militia and said Union troops will not enter to Kentucky's militia. Kennedy, wow, Lincoln to Kennedy. Well, he did have somebody in his cabinet named Kennedy, and Kennedy had somebody in his cabinet named Lincoln. That's
yeah. Yeah, there's lots of like, and I've seen the list.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, so Union troops will not enter the state. So he's saying that Kentucky is carte blanche for the Confederacy. That's not intelligent, right there. So moving on up to 1862, pretty big here. What do we got?
1862, U.S. began construction on the Central Pacific Railroad.
Ooh. Yep. Now this next one raised my eyebrow. It was just like... I have a story to tell after this.
1866, indelible pencil patented by Edison P. Clark, Northampton, Massachusetts.
Oh. Well, then, I misread that. I read that as inedible pencil. Okay. Well, this changes the entire game. What is an indelible pencil?
What is an indelible pencil?
This, I guess. So.
Well.
Okay. So okay.
That's the for arts people.
Yeah. Let's see if there's an actual copying pencil. Also, an indelible pencil or chemical pencil is a pencil whose lead contains a dye. Learn about its origin, uses, and dangers of aniline dyes in this article. Okay, so it's a colored pencil.
Yeah.
Okay. I initially read that as an inedible pencil, and I was going to say it didn't work that well because as a kid, I used to, like, I didn't eat my pencils, but I munched on the wood parts. Yeah, I chewed on them a lot. Like the pencil wood is so soft. Like,
yeah.
So I'm gonna have to. Actually, I think I'll keep the name of the show because the name of today's episode is Inedible Pencils or something like that. Like something. Yeah, that's in there. 1873.
1873, French poet Paul Verlaine, 29, in a drunken, jealous rage, wounds his protege, Arthur Rimbaud, 18, with a pistol, and gets sentenced to 2 years in jail.
You know, I want to sit here and say how pathetic and petty do you have to be as a 29-year-old to shoot somebody 11 years you're younger? But then I look around the world around me and I'm like, wait a minute.
Your actual protege.
Yeah, your actual your student. Like, you're the teacher. You're not supposed to be violent towards them. What the hell is wrong with you? 1877, the then villa of Mayagüez, Puerto Rico, formally received its city charter from the Royal Crown of Spain. So happy birthday, Mayagüez, Puerto Rico.
Yeah, independence.
Yep. Well, it's not independence. That's the birthday of that city.
Oh.
So then villa, now it's a city. It's not a country. It's just a city in the country.
Okay.
Yeah, 1882, during the War of the Pacific, and this one really raised my eyebrow here, Chile suffered its last military defeat in the Battle of La Concepcion when the garrison of 77 men was annihilated by a 1,300-strong Peruvian force, many of them armed with spears. And, so that just tells me, are there no conflicts that South America is really getting into? I mean, of course there's the cartels and such, but as far as warfare and everything, this was their last military defeat in 1882. So obviously they haven't really been involved in anything unless they've just been kicking ass, nonstop since then. You don't really think of anything involving warfare, with South America, as
right.
of the past 100 or so years at least. So 1886, George Goldie got a charter for the Royal Niger Company. But what did the Royal Niger Company do? Let's look this up here really quick. Let's see. It was a mercantile company chartered by the British government in the 19th century. It was formed in 1879. So wasn't given a royal charter until 1886, though. So. Formed in 1879 as the United African Company and renamed to National African Company in 1881 and the Royal Niger Company in 1886. There we go. So this is when it was changed. So in 1929, the company became part of the United Africa Company, which came under the control of Unilever during the 1930s and continued to exist as a subsidiary of Unilever until 1987 when it was absorbed into its parent company. Holy crap, dude. This has been around for 300 some odd years. Passing from, one owner to another and all that stuff. The company existed for a comparatively short time, 1879 to 1900, but was instrumental in the formation of colonial Nigeria as it enabled the British Empire to establish control over the lower Niger against the German competition led by Bismarck during the 1890s. Holy crap, there's so much history with this. Jesus. Wow.
Right.
I did not expect to open up such a wealth of information. But yeah, I urge viewers. I love to read more, but we have a show to do. Guys, go check out the Royal Niger Company. This was instrumental in so much history. Wow. Moving on up, in 1890, Wyoming became the 44th state of the U.S. and apparently was the first with female suffrage. So that's really cool. Oh. Let's move on up into the 1900s. What do we got here?
1905, Dutch Queen Wilhelmina opens technical
Hog.
Court. What hog?
I think
what is
a hog. A hog. I don't know.
Technical hog. What is that?
I don't know. Let's check this out. The Technical Hog Court. Oh, International Court of Justice. Okay. So that's pretty self-explanatory. So thank you, Dutch Queen Wilhelmina. International. Yeah, The Hague is a major city in international politics. There's a lot have been going on over there. What do we got here in 1908? This is pretty significant.
1908. H. Kamerling makes helium liquid.
And it was at negative 269 degrees Celsius. So liquid helium. It has to be very cold. Because, helium in its natural state is a gas. Moving on up into 1911, 105 degrees Fahrenheit or 41 degrees Celsius at North Bridgeton, Maine. And that's their state record. And we're going to have a run of state records here in a little bit. There's a slew. There's 4 articles. Boom, 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 boom. One after another here. But we have 1913, the world's official highest record temperature at Greenland Ranch, now known as Furnace Creek Ranch. Pretty fitting name there. Oh, and Death Valley. Okay. Why the hell would they name something Greenland in Death Valley? California at 134 degrees Fahrenheit or 56.7 degrees Celsius. Furnace Creek Ranch. Well, let's take a look at this here. Furnace Creek Ranch. All right, yeah, so that's out in the desert in Death Valley. As soon as the picture loads, if it loads, 5, 4, 3. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so that's obviously you can tell that's in the desert. And I wonder how much water they have to use to keep all those trees there. Because you can see, like, outside of, like, the line here, there's just nothing. It's just desert. So, 1917, Emma Goldman imprisoned for obstructing draft. Yikes. Oh, don't obstruct drafts. An anarchist and publisher. Yeah. Oh, of course, she's an anarchist. Okay. Well, that explains why. What else do we got here? 1918?
1918, Russian Soviet Federal Socialist Republic forms.
The predecessor to the USSR.
Yeah.
Yep.
1919, Dutch Parliament approves women's right to vote. Yeah.
Yes.
Get a cheer on that. Put a cheer on that.
Put a tear?
Cheer.
Cheer. Oh, okay.
Yay.
Yes.
Your cheer mark. Your cheer button. That's the boy.
Hell yeah.
Alright, 1919, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson personally delivers Treaty of Versailles to Senate. Worst president ever.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, dude, like, as difficult as it is to say, I would agree with you. Woodrow Wilson is worse than Joe Biden because Wilson brought in the IRS. That piece of shit.
Worst president of all time.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be difficult being worse than, bringing in all that crap. The Federal Reserve, the Rothschilds owning, our country's economy, as well as the rest of the world, mostly, if not already by now. I think the only outlier really is North Korea, maybe, but I don't know. I think they're just, dancing on stage with the rest of us.
Yep.
Yeah. But moving on up to 1920, you got some baseball here.
Cleveland's future Baseball Hall of Fame outfielder Tris Speaker has his then record hitting streak of 11 stopped by Tom Zachary. Indians beat Washington Senators 8-4 at Griffith Stadium. I don't know.
Look at that old uniform, dude. Look at that collar. Like, that has got to not be comfortable. Like, especially
right.
playing at this time of year, hot. Like,
why would you put a collar on? Like, it's unnecessary.
Yeah. Moving on up into 1921, Belfast Bloody Sunday occurred with 20 murders, at least 100 wounded, and 200 homes destroyed during rioting and gun battles in Belfast, Northern Ireland. Huh. Reminds me a lot of the Ferguson riots. Or I guess the Ferguson riots reminds me of Belfast Bloody Sunday. I don't know. So, 1932, 2-pound hailstones killed 23 and many cattle in Rostov, Russia. Yeah. 2 pounds coming down at you in terminal velocity, that'll just, like, atomize you on impact. Like, it won't hurt you, it'll kill you instantly. Like, you don't need to worry about getting hurt. Unless you're, like, dangle your arm out and get it severed, by frozen sky water. 1923, all non-fascist parties were dissolved in Italy. Of course, Mussolini. So. But what do we got here in 1924?
1924, Denmark takes Greenland as Norway ends claim.
Huh. So Norway pulled out and Denmark pulled in.
I guess.
And it's
also here in sorry.
I was just gonna say that's a fitting joke for what those two countries look like geographically. Actually, no, not Greenland. Hold on, Greenland, Norway map. There we go. Yeah, doesn't this kind of resemble something? Finland. Finland being the orb, and then Sweden.
Yeah.
Norway is just a Chernobyl tumor. It's It's a, or maybe it's a shark appendage, because they have two, right? So I don't know why I know this, but the internet has ruined my mind. Anyway, what else do we got here?
Also in 1924, Pavo and Nurmi won the 1,500 and 5,000 meter race with just an hour between them at the Paris Olympics.
That is impressive.
That is fast, boy.
Yeah, well, not just fast, but he did it only with an hour break between, because he's versing other professional athletes. That's incredible. In 1925, a jury selection took place in U.S. John T. Scopes evolution trial, and from our other source here, in Dayton, Tennessee, the so-called monkey trial began of John T. Scopes, a young high school science teacher accused of teaching evolution in violation of the Butler Act. So, here we go.
What?
Young upstart teachers, going against the grain. Sometimes it's for good reasons, like the teaching of evolution. Other times, like in today's world, is for true, horrible atrocity reasons, like the teaching of CRT.
1925, that seems a little late.
No, actually, that's about right on the money.
Yeah? Man.
Yeah.
1925, they were still
teaching creationism as the only, cause of how
crazy,
humans exist.
Man.
So.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well. At least we're more enlightened today, a little bit,
Well,
But see, the thing is that the whole debate between evolution and creationism is, why can't people just say, oh, well, maybe God invented evolution?
it is both.
Why do you have to believe that people just magically appeared? Why can't God have been zappity zap zap to a bunch of monkeys and then created humans? Who's to say that didn't happen? Why can't the two be one? Why is there a division anyway? That's ridiculous. Stupid. Anyway, what else do we got here in 1925?
1925, Scopes trial in Dayton, Tennessee. Sorry. 1925, Metro Baba begins his silent of 44 years. His followers still observe Silence Day on the state in commemoration.
Who is this guy? Meher Baba.
Who's Meher Baba?
Yeah.
Gotta be somebody important.
Yeah. Meher Baba. Let's see here. Let's see. He was an Indian spiritual master who said he was the avatar or God in human form of the age. Okay, here we go. A spiritual figure of the 20th century, he had a following of hundreds of thousands of people, mostly in India, with a smaller number of followers in North America, Europe, and Australia. His map of consciousness had been described as a unique amalgam of Sufi, Vedic, and yogic terminology. He taught that the goal of all beings was to gain consciousness of their own divinity and to realize the absolute oneness of God. Well, I can't argue with that. And technically he's not wrong by saying he's the avatar, or God in human form, because God is in all of us. So, the whole thing, about Jesus being Lord and all that. Well, Jesus, or Buddha or Muhammad or Moses or whoever it is that you want to say, it's all in you. We all are one. And as soon as people figure that out, then things will get better. Gotta stop with all the divisiveness. So, anyway, another 1925 here, USSR's official news agency TASS formed. So, Soviet news. Actually, I want to know what TASS stands for. The actuality of Soviet states. Oh, the Russian news agency, TASS, or simply TASS. But it's not telling me meaning. Let's see here. Owner, holy. Okay, it's not telling me what it actually. I guess it's based off of Russia, of course. So, anyway, moving on up to 1926, Lake Denmark, New Jersey. Arsenal exploded, killing 21 and causing $75 million in damage. Yikes. So, a weapons supply. Yeah, Arsenal. That's not good. We have another 1926 here off of main source, U.S. Open Men's Golf. Scioto Country Club. Amateur Bobby Jones, winner of the British Open 2 weeks earlier, claimed the second of his 4 U.S. Opens, 1 stroke ahead of runner-up Joe Turinesa. All right. What do we got here in 1928?
1928, Senator Milt Gaston hurls record trying 14 hit shutout.
Tying. He tied it. No, he's not trying it. He's tying it. So.
Oh, tying. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Got some baseball here.
1929, Pittsburgh Pirates outslug Philadelphia Phillies 15-9, and at Baker Bowl, 19 home runs hits, 1 each inning, unique in MLB history.
Yeah, 9 home runs hit, so 1 home run each inning. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's.
We got one more 29 here.
1929, U.S. issues newer, smaller size paper currency.
All right, and that reminds me. Like, let's see here. Puts your hat. Or no, that's a dollar bill. There we go. It's take your hat off, not put your hat on. This one scene in A Million Ways to Die of the West. It showcases, this is from the late 1800s, but dollar bills used to actually be this big here. So, like look at the size of that bill. Like, could you imagine the wallet that you're gonna need for that bill? Like, that is a huge bill. Like,
there it is. It's beautiful. Take your hat off, boy. That's a dollar bill.
Your head up, boy. It's a dollar bill.
But yeah, no, like to have a dollar back then did actually mean wealth. Like, and now to have $1 million today, you might as well be in a poorhouse. Like. Anyway, moving on up to 1932, Jack Burnett gets 9 hits. Eddie Rommel relieves in second, 18-17 victory in 18, as his A's defeated the Indians in longest relief job. What is a relief job? Do you know?
I don't know. It sounds.
This is baseball lingo. Relief job, baseball. Let's see here. Oh, relief pitcher. Okay. So, like, he went in there and he relieved him, and he So yeah, that's right. So right here, Jack Burnett gets 9 hits, and then Eddie Rommel relieves in second, 18-17. So there's a relief pitcher. Okay. 1933, first police radio system operated, Eastchester Township, New York. All right. So yeah, so the police, talking to each other is like, oh, we need you to go to 4th and Main. We have a 1042. Whatever, like. The police radios. 1934, the first sitting U.S. president to visit South America, FDR in Colombia. All right, so he was the first one. Cool. What do we got here? 1934, another one. National League pitcher Carl Hubbard struck out Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Fox, Al Simmons, and Joe Cronin for MLB All-Star Game record for consecutive strikeouts. American League still win at 9-7. Nice. Wow, this guy struck out like some big names, Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. Like, I have no idea who these other 3 guys are, but I'm pretty sure that that they're substantial. And here we go. Do you want to rattle off what I spoke about earlier? We have 4 state records of heat.
1936, 109 degrees, Cumberland and Frederick, Maryland, state record. Also in 1936, 110 in Runyon, New Jersey, also state record. And also in 1936, 111 degrees, Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, also state record. Also here in 1936, got 112 degrees at Martinsburg, West Virginia, also state record.
Yep. I loved how they order them 109, 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's just getting hotter. It is just
Hotter,
progressively.
hotter.
You know, I wonder if that's like because this source is leftist. I wonder if they're trying to subliminally like push this like climate change agenda. You know,
Yeah.
like subconsciously, it's like, oh, look
Yeah.
at that right before your very eyes is 109, 110, 111, 112.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's increasing exponentially. Oh my God, we're all gonna die. But buy carbon offsets. Climate change. Polly want a cracker. So,
Rabble.
yeah. Well, anyway, I know you just rattled off 4, but if you'd like to take some actual articles, we have a couple more 1936s here.
Yeah, 1936, New Straits Convention allows Turkish rearmament of Dardanelles.
Dardanelles, I believe.
Dardanelles. That sounds much better.
Yeah.
Also here in 1936, Phillies Chuck Klein becomes the fourth to hit 4 home runs in a game.
Fourth of 4.
Nice.
That almost sounds like a Borg statement, or like sentence right there. He's fourth of 4. Like seven of 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never watched a single episode of Star Trek in my life, but I still can get the references. That's how much of a nerd geek dweeb I am, you know. 1938, Yankee Clipper completed first passenger flight over Atlantic. All right, so Yankee Clipper. Let's take a look at this. 1938. Let's see what this bird looks like. Yankee Clipper, 1938. Okay, well, that is a baseball player. So I think it has to be this one here. So, okay. Like it has sea paddles. That's interesting. Huh. Do you see that? Like it has like little stubby wings on its underbelly. Oh, well, yeah, because it's a seaplane. And yeah, that's for people to get on and off, or in and out, and it even has like a little ramp there, so you can like ride up on a jet ski. That's cool. I wonder if jet skis were invented back then. When were jet skis invented? When were jet skis invented? Let's see here. 1985. So this is well before that. So this was extreme innovation for their time. They have a jet ski landing before jet skis even existed by 50 years. 1938 as well, Howard Hughes began a 91-hour airplane flight around the world that will set a new record. All right. Good old Howard Hughes. And actually, we haven't seen a movie in a little bit, King. How do you feel like watching The Aviator after the show?
Yeah, sure.
All right. 1940, what do we got?
1940, Battle of Britain begins as Nazi forces attack shipping convoys in the English Channel.
Yep. And we have a off of main source here, and this is, pretty significant. I don't know why the main source doesn't have this, but what do we got?
1940, World War II, the Vichy government was established in France.
Yep, and as I've said before a couple times in the show, the Vichy France was southern France, and as we know, when the Nazis came in, took over France, they occupied the northern part, and then they installed a puppet government for the southern part. So, and this is when it started. You got two 1941s here.
1941, Continuation War. Finland invades East Carolina as hostilities with the Soviet Union resumed following the German invasion in June.
Yep. We spoke about that yesterday, I believe.
Yeah. 1941, Jedwabny pogrom, massacre of Jewish people living in and near the village of Jedwabny, Poland.
Yeah. Not good. So, yep. no, we got to take the bad history with the good, you know, like I really don't like talking about anything involving the Holocaust because it's a nasty thing, but if we don't talk about it, we don't learn from it. If we don't learn from it, then we're damned to repeat it. And, you know, I refuse to repeat anything of this atrocity, you know, so unfortunately we got to talk about it. Them's the breaks. So, and speaking of that, God, somehow my article is worse than yours, King. 1942, Himmler ordered sterilization of all Jewish women in Ravensbrück concentration camp in northern Germany. Oh my God, bad. Jeez. 1942 as well, Netherlands government in exile, London, recognized the Soviet Union. How can you recognize another nation if you yourself aren't even one? Like, riddle me that, Batman. Like, the Netherlands government in exile recognized the Soviet Union. I mean, I appreciate the energy, but, like, you're in exile. You don't even have your own nation, let alone the ability to recognize another. Come on. 1942 as well, World War II, a U.S. pilot spotted a downed intact Mitsubishi A6M0 on Akutan Island, the Akutan Zero, that the U.S. Navy used to learn the aircraft's flight characteristics. Uh-oh, we know your systems, Japan. Whoopsie doodle.
Oh.
Yep. 1943.
1943, U.S., Britain, and Canadian forces invade Sicily and World War II, Operation Husky.
Yep. And once again, Patton went on to dominate. So. In 1944, I really got to get a boo soundboard in here, because this guy, ugh, he even looks like a freaking piece of crap. So.
1944, father of Medicare, Tommy Douglas, becomes the 7th premier of Saskatchewan.
Yeah, good job.
What's a premier?
Like a president, like a premier, like, you know, like he's like the
president. Okay.
Yeah, or something like the 7th premier, like the 7th prime minister. It's like whatever. Like they have a different government system and stuff. But the father of Medicare is one of like the worst like inventions of humanity. It just drives people apart, gets them relying on the government. You know, I understand that times are tough, but if you're gonna sit there and like lean on the government as a freaking cane, then all you're doing is inevitably gonna make everything worse for you and everyone else. Not just around you, but everyone else. You know, that abides by, you know, the same laws that you do, by making it stronger, by giving it reason to exist. Medicare needs to be abolished. So, what else do we got here? Actually, no, yeah, Medicare and welfare. Like, you know, it's like stop with the government subsidies. So, what else do we got here? 1947.
1947, 200 people die when the trail derails and falls into the river in Canton, China.
Yikes.
Right.
Yep. 1947, Cleveland Indian Don Black no-hits Philadelphia A's 3-0. All right. And we also have Muhammad Ali Jinnah was recommended as the first Governor General of Pakistan by then Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Clemente Attlee. All right. So, and of course, he was the founder of Pakistan. He should be, you know, the first, like, whoever the head honcho is. He founded the dang thing. 1939, first practical rectangular TV tube was announced in Toledo, Ohio. Oh, Toledo, or Holy Toledo, or whatever the saying is. Practical rectangular TV tube. Let's take a look at what that looked like here. Oh. And I think I need to restart my music. I do. So, okay. This is not what I was thinking of. Hold on a second. 1949. Here we go. Still trying to find the actual tube. Okay, here. This will... Oh, why do they have to give me such a small image? Come on. Alright. well, there's the image right here. So you can't really see it that well, but they have two round tubes, and then they have a rectangular tube in the middle here. It's hard to discern for me, let alone anybody watching this. Let's see if I can find a bigger image. This is bigger somehow right here. But yeah, like back in the day, TV, like, you know, used to have vacuum tubes. Like here's an image of one. Like, you know, these are all different vacuum tubes and everything in order for television to television. What do we got here in 1950?
1950, your hit Parade premieres on NBC TV, later CBS, after being broadcast on radio from 1935.
All right, so from radio show to television, you know, not many shows did that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. 1951, this should be highlighted on the main source. You know, like a lot more should be highlighted. You know, this is pretty significant here.
Armistice talks to end Korean conflicts began at Kaesong.
Yeah, Kaesong. But yeah, like, you know, to end the war, which the Korean War was what, 51 to 55? Let's see here. Oh, 50 to 53. Okay. So, you know, this was relatively, it took longer for peace talks than it, you know, than it did, like, you know, between the start of the war for the peace talks. So, 1956, 650,000 U.S. steel workers go on strike. Whoa. Yeah. Good luck supplying any war effort with that. And we can thank jolly old England once again, you know, for their quote-unquote contribution to Western society. 1958, first parking meters were installed in England, 625 installed. So yeah, we can thank England for police, we can thank them for parking meters, you know, but we can thank them, you know, as well for, you know, what's that historically significant British documents, governments. I can't remember what it was called. Well, I'm not trying to talk about the Constitution. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like, you know, like in the 17 or 1800s, like the king, like signed like this massive document. Magna Carta. Thank you. There it is. The Magna Carta. Yeah. How the Magna Carta changed the course of history. Like, stands as one of the most influential and pivotal documents in human history. This remarkable charter revolutionized the balance of power by placing limitations on the monarch's authority and establishing an essential mechanism for holding a king accountable. So, oh, look at that, king. Now you're accountable. Moving on up to 1958, ex-king Norodom Sihanouk appointed premier of Cambodia. All right. 1962, Martin Luther King Jr. was arrested during demonstration in Georgia, of course. You know, like, trying to get rights, and, you know, they really did have struggles back then, as opposed to all the crying going on in today's world, you know. 1962, Telstar, the first active communication satellite, was launched, developed by American Telephone and Telegraph Company, AT&T. Okay. 1964, Jesus Alou was the first San Francisco Giant in 40 years to get 6 hits in a game and a 10-3 win over the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field. All right. And we got some Beatles history in 1964 as well. They released A Hard Day's Night, which was their third studio album. 365 days later, 1965, Rolling Stones scored their first US 1 single, I Can't Get No Satisfaction. And I try, and I try, and I try, and I try, I can't get no. Yeah, I shouldn't sing. 1968, Bobby Gentry recorded Ode to Billy Joe. Single went on to win 4 Grammys. All right. Uruguay in 1967 became a member of the Berne Convention Copyright Treaty. And what is the Berne Convention Copyright Treaty? Some new users may ask. You know, people watching the show might not be entirely, you know, privy to some things that we are. Usually, the Berne Convention for the Protection of Literary and Artistic Works, or usually known as the Berne Convention, was an international assembly held in 1886 in the Swiss city of Bern by 10 European countries with the goal of agreeing on a set of legal principles for the protection of original work. And it has gone on to still be a thing, today, I believe, at least as far recent as 1967, when Uruguay joined it. But yeah, this is an international copyright thing. Its parties is 181 now, and it was held in Bern, Switzerland, as I said, and is another incredibly historically and politically significant city globally in world politics. So, 1968, Major League Baseball announced it will split into 2 divisions for 1969, and I wonder if they merge back or if they stay separate. Like, was this a formation of the AL and NL? I'm not sure. Let's take a quick, surface level look at this article here. 1968 Major Baseball Stadium, season, blah, blah, blah. This is not going to, when East was West, the great divisional debate of 1968. Okay, so this is when they split into East and West leagues, I believe. So, yeah, if anybody knows a little bit more about this, if I'm wrong or right, let us know in the comments section. Moving on up into 1969, Chilean Association of Librarians was created. All right, we librarian people, need our pocket. 1971, we have a failed assassination attempt on King Hassan II of Morocco, resulting in 101 bystanders getting killed. Holy crap! Like, what happened? Did they try to blow up an entire city block or something? Like, how come so many people died and the target was left unscathed? That's weird. During his 42nd birthday party, the first of 2 attempted coup during Hassan's rule, it was organized by a rebel faction of the Royal Armed Forces led by Lieutenant Colonel Mohammed Abadou and General Mohammed Medbouth. Huh. So this was the first of 2. 98 civilians killed and about 59 civilians injured. So at least 98 to 101 people were killed. Yikes. Whoa, wait a minute. Casualties and losses, 158 killed. What's going on here? Huh. So, like, there was a whole battle. I guess the military got involved? Yeah, troops outside the Radio Marek headquarters. A rebel gets detained. The rebel is tossed into a truck. Huh. What else do we have here? 1971, National Women's Political Caucus, the NWPC, founded in the U.S. by women including Bella Abzug, Betty Friedan, Shirley Chisholm, Merle Evers Williams, and Gloria Steinmem. All right. They need, political representation and all that stuff. 1972, a herd of stampeding elephants killed 24 in the Chandela Forest in India. Yikes. 1 year later, the Bahamas declared independence from the United Kingdom and adopted the Constitution, and they gained independence within the Commonwealth of Nations. So, all right, Independence Day for the Bahama. Bermuda, ah, yeah, pretty Muda, da 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 da, da 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 da. 1973, John Paul Getty III, grandson of oil tycoon J. Paul Getty, was kidnapped in Rome by Italian gangsters wanting a ransom, and I think they paid it. I'm not sure. I think we cover later on. I do know that we cover at least one Getty, kidnapping or something. 1974, OPEC ended oil boycott against the Netherlands. And why was there a boycott, though? Like, let's look this up here really quick. 1974, OPEC boycott. Oil crisis. Organization of Arab Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC. It was implementing a total oil embargo against the countries who had supported Israel at any point during 1973 Yom Kippur War. Okay. So, of course, Israel had something to do with this. They always do. So, but boycott against the Netherlands. Why did OPEC boycott Netherlands? Let's see if I can... Okay, the 1956 Summer Olympics. So so it has to do with the No, that was later. That was 80 something when the Palestinian team killed the Israeli team. Or was that something else? I don't know. There's too much history to remember everything. 1975, the Test cricket debut of Graham Gooch versus Australia, out for a pair. The Gooch! And he was out for a pair. Oh my goodness. Out for a pair of what? Is a question. So, 1976, a chemical factory in Seveso near Milan exploded, covering the surrounding area in dioxin. And what is dioxin here, really quick? Dioxin. It is a group of chemical compounds that are persistent organic pollutants, POPs, in the environment. They are mostly byproducts of burning or various industrial processes, or, in the case of dioxin like PCBs and PBBs, unwanted minor components of intentionally produced mixtures. So cover the town in pollution, essentially. That is a yikes right there. 1976. One U.S. and 3 British mercenaries were executed in Angola following the Luanda trial. All right. And 1978, World News Tonight premiered on ABC with Max Robinson as the first black anchor on a network newscast in the U.S. All right. And we're at page 14 of 27, so we're not even halfway through here. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up. There's still a lot more history that happened, but yeah, I'm getting a little fatigued here, and I strongly urge people to go and look at our sources themselves. Like there's so much that we omit in the between the source and the script that there's so much history that happens on it every single day. But anyway, that shall conclude the show. Once again, please check the underbar of the description below for any links you may be interested in, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. We're not just here on Rumble or on YouTube. We're also on BitChute and Odyssey and various other places. Go check out our link tree down there in the underbar. And as I said, the sources of our articles here are down in the underbar as well. For your dose of past events daily, we stream every day at 11 in the morning Pacific time, which is 12 noon Mountain, 1 Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. We do have other shows. We have the Omni Coalition News Show, TOCNS, weird, odd, and unusual noble events, weather, and sports, every Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. We have the Omni Coalition Show, just a talk show. We talk about things both planned and unplanned. At 3 o'clock p.m. on Monday. So yeah, if you want to catch us live, it's 11 and 3, all for thee if you're on the West Coast. If you're in Mountain Time, it's 12 and 4, watch us for more. Central, 1 and 5 for the Contrive. East and 6, or East, 2 and 6 for your fix. And yeah, I'm just going to say right now, though, highly likely we might not be doing a show tomorrow, because I actually was thinking about not doing a show today, but I belted it out, and as I said, I kind of cut halfway through all the articles here, so I am getting a little fatigued, so maybe I'll take tomorrow off. But anyway, until you catch us next time, whenever that is, wherever that is, for all of you and all of us, I am A.O. Xander. Over here we have good old King's Refuge. And you, of course, viewer, are you. And yeah, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!
Deuces.